Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're here to chat all things Leeds United as the domestic campaign restarts. I'm Stephen Brown, and joining me as ever to discuss all things to do with the Whites it is Jason Booker as well. If you're watching along, get your comments in. Please like the video. Do also subscribe to the channel, and the same if you're watching this again later as well. Jason, we're back. Leeds United are back. 2 weeks off. I was it's always tricky, isn't it? International break so early in the season, you're just getting going, 3 games in and then wallop. There's another one in October and November as well because they've started throwing an extra one in. So all good. Did you bother watching any of the England games or nah?
Can't lie, I didn't even know who we were playing in the first one.
No,
then I saw that we were playing Serbia in the second. And I really find it difficult to have that alert to watch the international football. I think it's got worse since they created so many friendlies and the Nations League. Sorry, my mic's miles away. I used to be avid of watching all the qualifiers. I would make sure that I watched all the qualifiers and get dead into them, even whether we would be expected to win or not. Like, that's a lot of people's problem, is that the games are just too easy. But since the increase in friendlies and then the Nations League thrown in there, I've just lost all interest. Can't wait to the tournaments, love the World Cup, love the Euros, but all the other stuff, I just kind of think it just feels like pad statting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is it. It's hard to take the record. They say, oh, so-and-so's scored. It's like Harry Kane now. He scored, 60, 70 goals or whatever, and over 100 caps. Fantastic achievement, obviously, but they play so many more games compared to in the past.
I saw that Memphis Depay made he's the top goal scorer in Netherlands history after the weekend's game. Like, come on now. Like, Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Kluivert, Robin van Persie, Cruyff, like, some of the names that they've had, and Memphis Depay sits above them all. Like, you're not telling me that that's not stat padding. So, I just have a real problem with it.
Yeah, no, I agree for exactly the same reason. Yeah, too many games, too many tournaments bumped up. I did catch a little bit of the game the other night just because there was literally nothing else to do. It was like a Tuesday night. I was like, I have nothing else to do. I'll watch England. But yeah, glad that the football calendar is back. The Premier League is back. Jason, a couple of weeks since the last game, since a very encouraging draw to Newcastle. It's a tough fixture this weekend. It's Fulham away, visiting London. We know how we often fare in London. But how are you feeling about things in general, getting back to it?
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because after the Newcastle game, the momentum of that would have been nice to carry on. But then we're hoping that the couple of weeks off has given the new signings more time to bed in, given Tanaka and Ampadu time to come back. So it could actually work in our favour. It could be you don't know, do you? There's been a couple of niggles and knocks on international duty. I know Joe Rodon didn't play. I know Dan James was on the bench for Wales. I don't think Darlow played either, did he?
No,
which is strange. It's hard to know exactly how everybody's going to pack it. I know that Gruev had a bit of a controversy during the week of whether he was injured or not, and then he played, and but he was injured. I don't know what exactly happened there, but I read a little bit about it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm approaching it with caution. I don't think that there's any guarantee of any result. I think anything better than losing is a huge bonus. I think you're going to feel like that in most away games this season. We actually have an all right record at Fulham. We beat them the last time that we went there in the Premier League, I believe, and then in the Championship, I think we had a fairly good record against them. So, they're a good side. They have not won a game yet this season, and you'd be expecting them to have identified this one as one that they really need to go out and win. They have looked good. I thought they were excellent against Chelsea in the first half, especially when they were really hard done to by officiating. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. We're going to a week in which we've got 2 away games, and Premier League, you might come out of that. You might well come out of that with nothing. So I think, like I say, I'd be absolutely delighted with 2 points or above. Absolutely delighted. So
and this you've touched on it there, and it's something I've been thinking about as well. Is when Fulham got that fixture list, Leeds United at home, and they haven't won in the first 3 games, they're looking at that like it's their, their dessert, isn't it? After a meal, they're like, right, they're looking at that. We have to get
100%.
to that, and you can imagine that it's going to be full. They're going to come at us with both barrels loaded.
Well, very quickly they start. Like if they did lose to us at the weekend, Silver's all of a sudden very quickly under pressure.
Yeah,
because that's what the Premier League's like. They've not won in the first 3. They've then got a home tie against Leeds, recently promoted team, and they go and lose that. So there's a huge amount on it for Fulham. Do they get sucked into a relegation battle? If they, these are all the things that will start kind of getting pushed in as the narrative in the media and things like that. So, yeah, it'll be a massive game for them, and I'm hoping. Obviously, we've seen what we're capable of doing at Ellen Road, and we've seen what happened away at Arsenal. I'm hoping that we just see a really resolute performance. I'm not expecting anything, if I'm honest. Yeah. I think we can go there and I think we can win the game. Of course we can. I think we can go there and certainly hope to maybe come out with a point. But if we come out with nothing, I wouldn't be devastated or surprised because it's the Premier League and Fulham are a well-established, good side. They've got some really good players in that squad. So I just want to, again, see us build onto something that I think, the next time we go to Bournemouth away or Wolves away only a week after, I've got optimism based on the Fulham performance rather than us getting drubbed 3-0 or whatever. I think that's what's vital at this stage.
Yeah, I'd agree wholeheartedly with that. I think there's quite a few interesting threads to pull at as well. I mean, obviously the big question mark is about Leeds United's attacking kind of output at the moment. 1 open goal. So open play goal so far this season. I would caveat that by saying, look who we've played.
I was against Sheffield Wednesday.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's kind of, there is that kind of to look at as well. And it's going to be interesting, if we kind of look at that attack. I mean, you've got the Calvert-Lewin versus Metcher debate. Does Okafor come into it? I mean, what are you expecting to see in those kind of positions?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Really, really tough one. I mean, we've talked about Dan James and been a bit worried about what he's put out so far this season. I'd agree with that as well. Yeah. I would like to see Willie Gnonto probably start on that side just because of the limited options in which we've got. Just until Dan James is either playing himself back into form or he finds fitness. I don't know what it is with. It's not just quality with Dan James so far. It's felt like he's been playing within himself.
Yeah,
that's how it feels to me. It's not just decision making that we saw from Dan James in the Premier League a few years ago. He's not looked himself. Okafor needs to come in and start to really show why we put so much trust in him in the attacking creation. The facts are is we're not giving him enough time either yet. He's had 1 game against Sheffield Wednesday's kids where everybody were a bit flat, and then a few minutes against Arsenal. I mean, some people are writing him off already. I think the big conversation with regards to the striking position is to whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fully fit or not. I think we've seen enough of him already to see his quality difference in comparison to Metcher and Perot. I think Metcher's a real workhorse, and I think he'll have his part to play this season, but he ain't going to score the goals that we need. And I know Calvert-Lewin's got a checkered history, let's say, with regards to finishing, but you can see that he's creating chances for the team. He's opening up spaces. His runs are very good. Like, he's got good decision making. And them chances, whether they go straight in or not, if he's shooting at goal and then a rebound comes in for Stack or Longstaff, it doesn't matter. He's kind of been part of creating that. So yeah, I remember Metcher getting the chance against Villarreal in pre-season. About a minute in, and you knew from the second that he ran onto the ball he weren't going to score. You could just see it in the way that he was striding towards goal. So yeah, he'll have his part to play, but he's just not going to score the goal. So it's going to be tricky. But ultimately, it will rely on us keeping the opposition score down. That's going to be where we start, I think. Anyway, looking at the way that we've set out in these 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of set pieces as well, obviously rumours that Leeds are hiring a set piece coach. Not quite sure why you wouldn't have got that done in the summer, to be perfectly honest, so kind of ready, embedded in for the season. I don't know if that's a sudden kind of, right, we need to kind of get on that or what, but is it now time to kind of hopefully implement something set piece wise? I mean, obviously we've not really got a specialist. Obviously, Stack's been taking the set pieces. Some fans think it's a bit ludicrous with his size, but then there's an argument he's a good ball striker, and look at someone like Rice. I mean, the set pieces. Is it time now? Let's try and kind of because that's the kind of thing where you got to Fulham away and you nick a winner or you nick a draw, don't you, with a last minute corner or something. It'd be nice to see that kind of threat level go up a bit.
It's funny because all I've heard in the commentary really during our game so far is how good we were at set pieces last year. And it never really dawned on me that we were a particular massive threat from set pieces last year. Like, I think we scored a few. Pascal was particularly good in the air. Well, it was 8. We scored 8 goals from corners last season. But I just think that was as a byproduct of how many corners we had.
Yeah.
We were so dominant. Like, it never felt like we were like this supernatural threat from set pieces. The deliveries were always patchy at best. Solomon, Rothwell usually took the corners. Rothwell's I thought were good, but whether they were on the pitch or not was the other question. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, and you're absolutely right that it seems strange that they would have left this until a couple of weeks into the season to then get a set piece specialist coach in, and when everybody else is doing it now, and they've become such a massive part. I mean, even long throws have become a thing again, haven't they? And I saw a media piece on that the other day. I thought, okay, it's a bit dry, isn't it? Like, for content, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it is a weird one, but we do need to make the most of them. I'm a little bit of the opinion that I think it's crazy that we haven't drilled someone else to be able to take a corner better than Anton Stack. I know that we've got other big lads in the team now, but we're not bereft of them, are we? When you think Willie Nonto, Jack Harrison.
I was thinking about Nonto. I was thinking that because Nonto has shown at times in the past that he's a good ball striker. I'm like, on that left foot as well. I was like, I just wonder if Nonto, because he's no threat, is he? I mean, bless him, he's barely taller than mascots. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it? Just get him on the corner. I mean, he's got a decent technique on him.
Well, I mean, Goodmunson took some in pre-season. Goodmunson should be taking most of it. Depends on whether you want an in-swing or an out-swinger, but whichever the tactics suggest that is the best for our attackers of the ball to score from. It's usually, I think, an in-swinger is probably considered the most dangerous. You then get Goodmunson on that side, but that seems to have dried up as well. It's almost like they just pass it between them in the game. It's like, oh, go on, you take this one. And it's like, that can't be right. When Jack Harrison's on the pitch, he tends to take them. And I think Jack Harrison can deliver a ball. I think it's his composure when he then is in play that's often the problem. So I don't mind him taking them if I'm honest. But yeah, I mean, Tanaka, you think Tanaka would be a good corner taker as well, wouldn't you? Yeah. So, Gruev takes free kicks. I mean, I don't like him. Gruev takes free kicks, but then doesn't take the corner.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
There's definitely something amiss within the squad. It definitely feels like an oversight from management.
Well, yeah, because I mean, we're looking at especially data driven from the 49ers, which we'll get into in a bit, and you would have thought them kind of areas would have been kind of sectioned off really, and look these incremental, whereas like when Bielsa was there, he didn't give a stuff, did he, about it? It was just like we'll go out and play. But now, especially with this kind of hyper focus on kind of every nook and cranny, you would have thought would have covered that.
Arsenal's set pieces are so good. They are so good. The corners, if you actually have a look at the statistics, not many goals come from corners as a ratio to corners. Yeah. They're very, very limited. I mean, there was that thing that went by a few years ago where Paul Scholes were playing every corner shot. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And it came out that the reason that he was doing that was statistically more goals come from playing the corner short and doing something different with it than actually into the box. That was statistically fact.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
we took it too far, and we're just doing every single one, that way. So it is a really interesting one. But if you actually have a look at Arsenal, when we set up against their corners, I was like, "This is more dangerous than a free kick on the edge of the box."
Yeah,
like it felt crazy, like and we did twice or 3 times. I can't remember how many times I conceded from it. It's not just the delivery. I mean, Declan Rice's delivery is so good. It's not just that. And it's not just how good the players are heading the ball in the box. If you watch what happens in the box, they have got their players tactically placed in such a formation that defenders can't attack and defend the ball. That's where the luxury comes from. And it feels like they've just got so much kind of free space. It's not that the defenders are not trying to defend it. It's that it's been set up that way. And as long as Declan gets the delivery right, which he so often does, it's almost a tap-in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is very clever what they do. Very clever.
Yeah, indeed. Defensively then, Jay, obviously you can imagine it's going to be pretty important, and the centre-back partnership and pairing, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, Struijk, who I think has had a decent start to the season, but was very, very poor against Arsenal. I'm a little bit worried that if we go with Struijk this weekend, I'm a little bit worried that he's going to be someone who's going to, potentially be at fault for a situation. Feels like he's got it in him to do it. And is it the time now for Bijol to kind of be given that opportunity? I mean, what do you think on that? Would you be happy to see Bijol coming in, or are you happy with keeping Struijk there?
Well, outside of Stack, he's been a big money signing, and I was dead excited about him when we'd signed him and knew quite a bit about him. Yeah. I'd really like to see him in, and I can't imagine that it'll be too long before we see him.
Yeah.
Now, with Joe Rodon being taken with a bit of a knock at the weekend, or this week, whenever it was, will it be that Bijol starts with Struijk, which I would be worried about, because I feel like Joe Rodon's a consistent kind of anchor cog within that machine. And then you've got two that are going to be they're going to be brand new for a start, but they're also, the communication is going to be limited. I know Pascal wears a band, but we know he's not the voice back there. We know that that's Joe. Yeah. And then Bijol, how does he fit into that? So that'd worry me a little bit. So I'd be happy if Joe Rodon's fully fit. I mean, I'm imagining that Joe will do everything he can to be back and on the pitch, because we know what he's like. And we haven't missed a game outside of one for a suspension in 2 years, has he? He missed one game for a red card after holding, and that was it.
Yeah. That the one where remember the one where Farker kept Cooper and Struijk together against Southampton, and Rodon was available.
So it was So we drew at Hull. Rodon got sent off for 2 yellow cards that were terrible. The next game we won at home with Coops and Pascal, and then we played Southampton away the next game, and Joe was back, and I mean, poor Coops that day, man. He were bad, wasn't he? Really bad. Especially alongside Pascal, bless him. So to answer your question, I hope so, because I think the more we can get the quality that we've bought into the squad, the more competitive we should be. And that's no disrespect to the boys that have come up, but we've signed these players for a reason, to improve us and improve the starting 11. I think Longstaff needs to start, not to skip over too many pages at once, but he's the kind of player that I would want to really see within this system, especially away from home, to help us kind of dig in and get through them games, and them moments where it's pivotal that you need that Premier League experience. He's got it. I mean, that's what we've paid for. That's exactly what we wanted with a midfielder like that. So yeah.
Good stuff. Nige, morning guys. As it stands, injuries, can't see any more than 3-4 points in the next 4 games. Your thoughts on your points predictions? Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Gav, morning pal. Darlow to start. Yeah, that's, I mean, in terms of potential returns and outgoings and whatnot, rumours that Perry is picked up a knock. So Darlow could be in line for a start. There's even some people suggesting that's why we've ended up keeping Meslier. They think it's an even worse injury to Perry. But I mean, in terms of, Darlow, obviously it wasn't very encouraging what we saw at Sheffield Wednesday, but I'm not too concerned. I think, you're going to get injuries out of you through the season. That is going to happen. But in terms of that keeper situation, what's your take, mate?
Yeah, I said to you before we came on, like, we're going to get injuries. Like, it depends how long he's out for. I mean, if he's out for the season, then I'll be worried. I quite like a lot of what we've seen with Perry. I know people were getting really ecked up and worried about it early. I think his kicking's a little bit of a problem, but I think outside of that, he comes and collects crosses. I think he's batshit crazy goalkeeper that you need. Yeah. He's just got that little bit of loose cannon about him, but they're all a bit mental. I think the best keepers are a bit mental. Peter Schmeichel's considered as one of the best of all time, and he was absolutely mental, wasn't he? We know he was. Bruce Grobbelaar, look at him, mental. Like they have to be, don't they, to throw themselves into danger all the time. So yeah, I like him, and he's never looked unassured from corners. He's always come and collected. I think shot stopping wise, he's gonna save everything that he should save, and that was always the problem with Ilan. Ilan would make good saves, but he would let too many of the ones where he should save them in. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm happy with Perry. If he's out this weekend and it's just one game, I'm not really that bothered. Carlo coming in, he's a competent enough backup Premier League or Championship goalkeeper. He's experienced. He'll be fine. He won't feel any pressure going into the game. The Sheffield Wednesday goal, he'll have been over it before the ball even got back to the centre circle. That's what he's like. You could see that in him in the Championship last season. So yeah, it's just one of them things, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it ties into a bigger point. I was thinking this the other day because I was seeing some of the reactions to when it got rumoured about Perry being out. And I feel like at the moment, I don't know. I mean, it's online though, isn't it? It's not a true reflection, is it, the online world? But, when you look at it, I just think we just jump to negativity so quickly as a fan base. It's like, I myself, I can be quite pessimistic and things, but I've really kind of got a voice in my head for this season where it's like, try to enjoy this. Try and look forward to it. Be excited. Be kind of, this is what we wanted back in the Premier League. Be excited rather than kind of, oh, it's all going to go wrong and this is bad and this isn't. It's just, it feels like, I don't want to waste my time feeling that way about it.
What are you here for? Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, until we have to stress, like, what's the point in stressing? Like, it makes no sense. I mean, you're absolutely spot on with the online stuff. Like, people were berating Lucas Perry 2 weeks ago, saying, not sure about this keeper, dodgy keeper, for one game against Arsenal. And it's like, what? Like, hold on, we've been praying for a brand new shiny goalkeeper for 2-3 years. Yeah. And then people were like, Ilan's better. I saw people say that. Melanie is better. I saw people say that. And now he's injured. People are like, what we're going to do with that Perry? We're going to go down. Like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I deleted Twitter off my phone, and I do browse it occasionally on the PC. I found myself last week getting on there a little bit more again, and I fully understood why I came away from it. It is a cesspit of negativity. It's horrible platform.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I mean, to be honest, after the transfer window as well, I shut off from content about Leeds in general because I'm just not prepared to waste my time sitting to listen to about how everything's terrible with Leeds at the minute. I can't be bothered with that. I really can't. But I've put to bed, disappointing end of the transfer window. For me, that's it now. We've got what we've got and we just go forward. Yes, we would have loved, something in the attacking, and we can look at that and maybe at the end of the season, it might be one of the reasons we end up not staying up. But I'm not going to spend the whole, build up to every game going, it's like, that's it kind of thing.
The thing is when we're all guilty of this. This is just people. When you're in it and something can be changed, it's very easy to say, not signing another striker or attacker will send us down. Even Daniel Farke did it. Yeah. It's very easy to do that. But then the second that opportunity and option is taken away from you, you start thinking with a little bit more logic and you start rationalizing the situation. You're absolutely right. It might be what sends us down, but it probably won't be. Yeah. I didn't like the Robbie Evans passage. I disagreed with a lot of it. But one thing that he did say was, the signing of Harry Wilson wasn't going to dictate whether we stay up or not. He said something to words of that effect. Yeah. And I actually agree with him. He'd have been a nice supplement to what we had, but he probably wouldn't be the difference between staying up and not. I also like the fact, and I know we're going to come on to it, that they are well aware of where we want to finish this season. And 16th is the goal, given the information that we've read this week. I actually really like that, because that tells me they're prepared to see us lose between 17 and 21 games.
Yeah.
So there's going to be no panic and no kind of like stress from their end. Like there will be from the fans' end, but if the fans can kind of get on board and go and have a look at what, 15th to 17th have finished on over the last few years in terms of losing games and winning games and whatnot, you can actually then start to sit and have a little bit of peace in some of the games. There will be fans this weekend that are expecting us to beat Fulham.
Yeah,
I'm sat there thinking, like, what are you on about? Like, why? Why would you expect? If we got a win out of that, that is a massive, massive result.
I heard prominent YouTubers saying about minimum 4 points. It's got to be. I'm like, minimum 4 points in the next 2 games. What planet are you on?
Nottingham Forest in the season that they finished 17th won 1 away game all season, and that was away at relegated Southampton.
Exactly.
1 away game all season, and they still stayed up. Yeah. So, like, no, absolutely not.
Like Gav says here, would be a great point at Fulham. Diggler, I'm going to enjoy it. It's the Prem. I'm disappointed about recruitment, but I'm 100% behind Farker and the boys. Let's go. Chelsea have been handed 74 charges by the FA. We'll have to keep an eye on that one.
They're crooked result, then.
Oh, they're dodgy. They're so dodgy. Just quickly before we look at the 49ers stuff, Tanaka and Ampadu, rumours that they're back in training, fit, and might even be available to play this weekend. I mean, if that's true, I mean, what a massive boost that would be. I mean, in particular for me, Ampadu, to have him back. We're a different team. Even in the Championship, we were a different beast when he were in the team. Potentially great news. And if so, international break, love it. Came at the right time.
Yeah, bring them on.
Yeah.
100%, mate. And I think Ampadu will come straight back in. I don't imagine, even if Tanaka's available, that he'd start. I think it'd be Longstaff, Stack and Ampadu. And that'd make a lot of sense, especially away from home. But yeah, if Ampadu, I think Ampadu, every time Ampadu's fit, Daniel Farker will stick him straight back in, whether that's the centre-back, defensive midfield, or on the wing. Like, he loves Ethan, doesn't he? Like, he needs to be in his squad. And we can see why. We are a totally different team with and without him. From a leadership point of view and from a technical player point of view, he just reads the game so well. He's quick in that area. He's strong. His passing, his distribution, both feet. Gruev, we spoke about it a lot, limited on the right hand side. Well, not even limited on the right hand side. He's non-existent on the right side. I've got a better left foot than Gruev's right foot. I swear I have. And I've got like a 2-star weak foot. Like, he's so bad on the right hand side. Ampadu will be straight back in and be massive for this one. Massive.
Yeah, it would. 78. Yeah, I've seen people in other chats say Fulham is a must-win. Yeah, I've got to admit.
Mental.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. You did touch it on there. There was a leak of a report about kind of the 49ers investment pitch with Leeds United. We touched on it a couple of weeks ago. There was a kind of tweet that went round, that kind of summarised a little bit of it. But the Athletic have done kind of a full breakdown. Like you say, it's interesting, to get that peek behind the curtain of what's planned and a lot of information as well that's been revealed in it. So obviously, we know that they bought the club a couple of years ago. They're looking to turn it into a kind of £1 billion kind of enterprise. And it's open. It mentions about, ultimately selling the club, changes in the manager, which, like yourself, I kind of thought that's interesting. They've factored that in as well, and they're expecting the revenues to kind of go up to nearly 300 million, in the next kind of couple of years. They've worked out. There's a breakdown in. I'm not going to go through it now because just go to the article and check it out, but give a breakdown of, right, this is what we're going to spend this year, this is what we're going to spend on that. I mean, it's quite meticulous in terms of what they're doing. And to be honest, with what we've spent this summer, it hits where, what they've said, really, doesn't it? Obviously, if we'd had outgoings, I'm sure we would have then maybe done more. But I mean, a lot of detail in it, Jason, and kind of a full breakdown of the plan ahead.
Yeah, no, it was super interesting. I mean, I can't believe it's been leaked, but I suppose if you are handing this out to potential investors that then don't invest, there's people that then don't really care where the information goes, right? It's one of them. The point about the manager I thought was super interesting. I mean, it just shows to me, and anybody that says that they glaze Daniel Farker, they're already planning for life without him. You know what I mean? Like, they know it's well within statistical probability that they're going to have to sack him in the next 12 to 18 months. That's almost madness that they've thought about it in that kind of detail. But it makes sense. If it's a business, and the manager of the first team is a huge part of that. It makes sense that they would plan that. Yeah, you're right. The spending kind of goes in line with it. And I think to touch on the point that me and you have made, well, we've been kind of dissecting everything that happened in the transfer window. We're still suffering from previous regimes' mistakes in terms of the spending and the PSR limits. That's one big thing. Also, their recruitment, because their recruitment has then led to some of these players that we spent money on having absolutely no value. So the likes of Rasmus Christensen, Diego Llorente, Mark Rocker, Tyler Adams, like all of these, even the ones that we've still got, Brendan Aronson as an example, Dan James as an example, they've not speculated in terms of the money in which they've made. The signings that they're making now, they made a point of this in the passage, they've been signed with the intention that they will be worth X amount more in a few years' time. Jakob Ehl's a great example of this. Anton Staxon was a great example too. 15 to 20 million pounds. Both of them, if the signings go right along with the data-led recruitment kind of philosophy that they've gone with, they could both be worth double and a bit more than that. Especially Beal. I think Beal, you can potentially see for a centre-back of his nature and his age and his potential being worth 30, 35, 40 million if he has a good... like you look at Gvardiol and I know I'm not saying it's Gvardiol, but his kind of line of improvement to be able to then get to Manchester City, it's a similar kind of trajectory of signing. So I like a lot of what I read, if I'm honest. I know some of it is cutthroat and business talk, but I liked a lot of it. And yeah.
Good. Well, the one interesting bit, I've just pulled a little bit of it up here just to summarise it, is in terms of the academy investment, which is obviously something that you and I flagged up as a bit of a concern. That where's that pathway? Where's that kind of route coming through? You mentioned that stat the other day, wasn't it? First time since 2009 or something that we didn't have an academy player.
The Newcastle game was the first time since 2009 that we didn't have a Leeds Academy graduate within the squad. Because Sam Byron didn't make the squad either. Not that I really would have seen that as being the point in case anyway, because he's now in his 30s. But yeah, we didn't have an academy graduate in the squad for the first time since 2009. And given how kind of efficient our youth squad has been, how many top players we've brought through that have gone on to have really good careers, and some of them not even top level career. I think like Jack Clark and the players like that now maybe having good careers in the Championship. We didn't have a single one.
No,
they are miles off it. Like if you watch the 21s now, there isn't that next one coming through that you think, they should be on the bench. There's just not. Watch them. Not the good, the good 21s players are. That's it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's probably an area that's been neglected over time. But apparently, £500,000 annually will be invested for recruitment, £3 million going into Thorpe Arch, a new £2 million in a city facility for people to be able to get to the club quicker. One of the goals I mentioned is having one saleable academy star every 2 years, so kind of like the Archie Gray blueprint. You make a big star academy, and it's that's the kind of nature of the beast at the moment, isn't it? With pure profit and all that kind of stuff.
Say first hand on that as well, Browney. Like they have made big changes to try and level up the playing field and bring us closer. The teams that we've got, we're really unfortunate with where we're situated when it comes to an academy perspective, because they can go down the M62 and go to City and Manchester United. They can, and that's where they go. So we are in a battle with them, and Manchester City especially, they basically just farm all the players and then release them when they're not good enough, and it leaves Leeds United in a really difficult position. But they have now got a full recruitment team. I was part of it, that they pay everybody, like everybody. There's no volunteers in an academy scouting capacity now, which is quite uncommon. Like it's more uncommon than you think. Most football work is voluntary, and you're kind of lucky if you get a paid employment role. So you're very, very fortunate at Leeds to see that, and they get paid all right as well. They're not. It's worth doing. So
and an interesting one on that scouting as well, because they're looking at increasing their knowledge abroad as well, and that might be through, it hints at like a multi-club kind of thing where clubs that you own in other countries you're able to use there. Obviously we're got a little bit of that net Red Bull link as well. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? The bottom line is they've got to be successful, got to do well. I think they predict kind of 16th and then kind of back-to-back 15th finishes over the next 3 years, which I personally would be really satisfied with. I'd be happy with that because I'd be delighted with it, not to get relegated. Because this is what it is. We're in that phase where we're trying to be established, and I think some fans think it's you kind of have one season, then you're in the Europa League. They're looking at Forest, and Forest is a bit of a freak situation. How many teams?
Forest can do it in one season, though, Brown.
No, exactly. No, absolutely not. No, exactly. And sometimes you never know. You might exceed the plan. That kind of thing. But it feels like, and this was another kind of contradiction as well. It's like fans are annoyed when there's no plan. When there is a plan, they're annoyed at that. And it's like, what would fans be happy with? A projected finish of 7th next season? Is that what people want to hear? It's delusion. It's absolute delusion. PSR is going to be tight again next season. I mean, it's going to be all very tricky to negotiate again.
I fully expect the next 2-3 years to be relegation battles, and us to just do it a little bit better every year and be a little bit safer, a little bit earlier. That's as much as I'm hoping for. There might even be times next season, if we do stay up, where we find ourselves in bottom 3, and then that's the Daniel Farke sacking, and then we have to build. And look at Brighton. Brighton, up until moving on from Potter, they basically just flirted with relegation constantly until they stayed up. That's how it was. Brentford have been exactly the same. Thomas Frank, as great as he is and as good as he's done at Brentford, if you go and have a look at the trajectory of Brentford over the last few years, last season they had a really good season, but the previous 3, I think it was, they were always in and around 14th, 15th. Then they had a bit of a run at April and stayed up. That's what the best we can hope for. Anything more than that is literally dreamland. And we'd be lucky to have that. We're not going to have another 9th. Even the 9th under Bielsa was I'm not going to say fluke. Fluke's the wrong word, but it was just a complete and utter anomaly.
Yeah, it was like kind of the perfect storm, wasn't it? To get that.
We saw it the next year, didn't we? If we're being honest, we saw it the next year, because as much as we let Bielsa down and we needed more reinforcements, he still had the same players overall.
Yeah,
we didn't lose anybody, did we? We still had Rafinha, we still had KP, we still had Bamford. A couple of injuries in there, sure, fine, I can get that. But we saw what that squad was really capable of the year after. And really, I think if Bielsa had stayed, we'd have probably ended up finishing 14th or 15th.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I mean, I think Leeds' commercial kind of power, I guess, or position is what kind of elevates us above your Brentfords and your Brightons and a lot of the Premier League. That, I think, is what has made them invest. I get the impression, the fact that the potential, the stadium, that's what it is. It's there, isn't it? If someone can just develop it, but they've got the plan. So we'll wait and see. Just before we log off, then Jay, Fulham this weekend, Wolves next weekend. As someone, Lee, I think it was asked earlier, score predictions. Nige, sorry. Score predictions. What you thinking this weekend?
I'm going to give you a head and heart, which I know.
Yeah, I was going to do the same when I was thinking about this. I'm going to do the same, actually.
It's a little bit stucky in it, but my heart says that we can get something from it. Of course, I always go into every game thinking, there's a way and we can pull a result out of the bag. So I would say 1-1. But I think my head is saying probably, I just feel like this is going to be an L, especially with Fulham not winning yet and being at home. So I'm probably going to say 2-0, which will worry a lot of people because we won't score again. But yeah, as long as I see an all right performance, as long as I see something, a few chances created and a defensive solidity, I'd be okay with that. If I'm honest, I'd get over it pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not happening at the front end of the pitch, I mean, that could be one of the things that ends up, being a problem for Farke, because then you've got to look tactically and can somebody else get more from an attacking sense? But that's way down the line, hopefully. I agree with you. Heart is kind of saying we might be able to get something. We might be able to get a draw. We might even be able to get a sneaky win. But my head, I do agree with you. I think Fulham will be so on the ball with this one. They've got this marked on their calendar as 3 points. and I think they'll do everything to get it. It's 3 o'clock kickoff in London. It's it's one of them. But yeah, you never know, Jay. You never know. We might be surprised. We hope we will be. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I always believe, outside of maybe the Arsenals and them kind of games, that we will be in games under Daniel Farke. I just believe that. And again, I'm okay with that. If we come away with a 1-0 loss or a 2-0 loss and they've scored the second in the 95th minute or something, I'd be all right with that, because we're playing in games where we have got chances to get points. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So brain says a loss, heart says one. No, that's what it is. You want it to be competitive. You want us to kind of show our best selves. We don't want it like that horrible Premier League season we had before, where we were never in games. But we'll wait and see. Myself and Jay will be back at some point to review the game as well, so we'll be giving our take on the match. Here we go. We're back in. Let's see what happens. But thank you, everybody who watched along and commented. Please make sure you like the video. If you're watching again later, drop us a comment as well. And we'll see you Saturday to give our thoughts then. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Stephen Brown. With me has been Jason Booker. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.